Hi there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Capital A Trading. Welcome back to another Forex Weekly. So again, for those of you that are new to the videos, it's just me analysing the charts, showing you what I'm going to do, showing you what I believe may happen, and then of course you can tackle that situation. So again, if that sounds good, if you take investments, if you trade, hit that subscribe button in the bottom right corner. Believe me, it'll be worth it. There's some exciting content coming this month. We've got the beginner's guide, so that'll be for anyone that's new. It'll be totally free. You can learn how I built up my understanding of trading and how I've got it to where it is today. Following that, my website, which will be launching early August, www.capitalatrading.co.uk. Be sure to check that out too. Last but not least, a quick shout out to Absolutely Magazine. They're my sponsors. Thank you for everything that you've done for me. They're available now in all Waitrose and M&S stores. Go and check that out. With that being said, let's get straight into the fundamentals.
Okay, so the good news this week is there's hardly any news. So sometimes that can actually be good news. So again, just going to show you Monday here. Not much going on. There's nothing with a high impact. Okay, there might be something in the US dollar. Not expecting much movement there. Tuesday, again, not much. Of course, there is a lot of going to be around the US dollar, a lot of news around the US dollar. But the main aim for the week, the main focus, which we're about to see when I go through the charts, is the US dollar's interest rate decision. It's coming on Wednesday. It's coming at 7 o'clock, 2 hours before the New York session closes. And I believe there is going to be some sort of stimulus package that is pumped behind the US dollar. So we're just going to be basically expecting to see that money pumped into the charts and then being able to catch the strength behind the US dollar. So again, just be sure to check out all the charts, all the pairs that I go through mentioning the US dollar. There'll be different types of trades that I'm looking at, different types of moves that I'm looking to make. So just be aware of that one. That's coming on Wednesday evening. For the rest of the week after that, it will be pretty much just dealing with the aftermath of that interest rate decision. Again, Thursday, nothing to write home about. Friday, there's some news in the euro in the morning, just after, of course, the London Open. So just be looking at a few things, but the main focus is going to be that interest rate decision for the US dollar on Wednesday. So with that being said, let's get into the charts. Okay, as always, we're going to start with the gold. Now, last week I mentioned an area around this level here on gold euro, around the 1524, let's say 1530. And all we've had is price bounce off of it, had a good move to the upside. So there was a possible trade there for you last week to catch on to a buy. It then came back to the same area and retested it. So it hits the same point and then starts to just kind of bubble in the area again. So for this week, it's pretty simple. I'm not really moving the goalposts. I'm just going to explain what I think can happen and when it can happen. So around Monday, Tuesday, early in the week, I'm expecting this to have another push to the upside, grab the liquidity, and then there's a longer term sell that I'll be talking about hopefully in next week's video for a target all the way down here. So that's the gold euro. Keep an eye on that. What I've said again is pretty much just looking out for that same buy. If I can break it down for you a little bit, it will be to just watch out for the middle of this area around 1525. That's the gold euro. Moving on to the gold USD, we have a slightly different picture. Now this one for me has grabbed the liquidity. So the actions are different. This one, I could imagine a lot of buyers were getting into the market. This is them just before the market's going to close. So around the Friday New York session, this would have came down, whipped out all them buyers, and is now probably ready to make that move to the upside. And again, with this one, it's a bit more of a higher target. I'm not expecting it to just wipe out this liquidity. I'm expecting it to come up to at least the 1860 level. So again, just be aware of that. From that point, it would then be a longer term sell that I'd be focusing on. So let's see if we can get that push from this area. Again, it's going to be around the 1800 mark where it is pretty much now. If I can break it down for you a little bit, yeah, it 1795 to 1800. See if we're going to get another bounce from this area. There's plenty of targets. And then, of course, be aware of that sell idea that I've been talking about. So that's the gold euro and the gold USD. Okay, next up is the dirty US 30. Now, this is going to be kind of similar to what I just mentioned with gold. The goalposts haven't really moved that much. I'm still looking at a sell pretty much where we are, the 3,500 level. Now, be aware, US 30 is known for making a new high. So just be aware, let's say let Monday, Tuesday go. See if the new high comes. See if they're going to grab a lot of liquidity above this area. And then there'll probably be a longer term move to the downside. So pretty much all I'm saying for this one this week is it's still valid. It's grab liquidity above here, but there's going to be a higher room to go to, a lot of higher space to move to. It doesn't usually just grab and move. It will come a little bit higher, then move. So I'm looking at the 3,500 mark for the longer term sell. It's still valid. It's still in this area. The bodies have stayed underneath this level here. And again, you'll see that a little bit clearer on a line chart. So what it tells me is that the sell is looking to happen, but there's too many traders in the way at the moment. So what they're going to look to do, I believe, is wipe some more out, and then we're going to get that bigger move to the downside. So just keep an eye on the US 30. The target will be around the 3,400 level. I'm expecting it to happen early in the week, Monday, Tuesday, latest Wednesday. If that hasn't started to progress the way I want it to, the trade will become invalidated very quickly. So just keep an eye on that one. It's the US 30. Next up is the UK 100. Now, for those of you who follow my videos, you'll know that I've mentioned this area for quite a long time, for around 2 months now, and it's looking good. So for around 2 months now, it's been in this area, sitting here. I believe the sell is going to cook. It is going to come, but I just want it to come a little bit higher, tap into this area, then go. It hasn't officially done that yet. There has been no interaction with this blue candle over here. So if I just come down to a daily now, again, you'll see that there's starting to actually be a break of structure as well. So this is starting to look very powerful in this area. Now, if I just come down to a 4 hour, what I want to explain this week is, yes, I'm still expecting price to come higher, maybe higher than this area, which is where that blue candle will be, which I just spoke about on the weekly time frame. So I'm looking for a retest back down towards this level here. Let's say around the 6,900, 6,9, let's say 6,920, somewhere in this level. I'm expecting to see price just sit here during the week. I don't know what day. Again, if it does get to around Wednesday evening and it's not done this, the trade will be invalidated for me. And I'm just looking for a buy to ride up above this area. Hopefully take out the liquidity. If it looks like it's going to stick there, that'll be a decision that I make at the time. So again, just be aware of this one. That's the UK 100. Okay. Next up is Bitcoin. A quick shout out to the Bitcoin miners who've been telling everybody to buy this while I've been telling everybody to sell it from the 60,000 mark. So again, just a quick shout out to them. You guys are really making this job a little bit tougher. So again, what I want to explain is, please don't start buying into Bitcoin. I don't believe it's ready to fly up yet. There's still a lot more liquidity that they need to grab to the downside. Now, this is an area that I mentioned recently. The trade I was looking for was for it to come above this area, just tap into this level and then go. I missed that. That's what it did. It did the move. It just missed my bus stop, drove past me. So again, it's back to the area now. Funny that at the end of the week, come Friday, it starts rushing back towards this area. So what I'm basically looking at, which you should be looking at, I believe, is the 34,500 level to the 3,500 level. Just keep an eye on it. I believe we're going to get another transaction created in this area, and then we might start seeing price shoot to the downside again. And what it's done on the way price is rising up to this area is it's left a few targets and a few clues that it will have to be back down here at one point. So just keep an eye on that one for this week. That's the 34,500 to the 3,500 level for the sell on Bitcoin. Okay, we're on the currencies now. And next up is going to be the three amigos. It's going to be the Euro Pound, the Pound USD, and the Euro USD. Now, last week with one of my students, we caught a trade from this area. We caught the sell around the 86,500, 86,600 level. A beautiful sell, good move. And now I'm pretty sure, again, this is just going to be moving down this week, not before we have a little retracement. So what I can show you now is where I can see the market makers and what they've done. So around here, there was a London Open, and it looks like they've slapped off it once. They've come back again and slapped off it twice. This candle is holding weight. It's probably the most relevant candle in the picture at the moment. So my advice is pretty simple. Just watch out for it. Let's see if price is going to come back towards the 85,850. There may be another sell entry early on in the week from that point there. If it isn't there, it's going to be 20 pips higher around the 86,200, where I can see something that's, let's say, untouched. So this one, they've touched into it already. That could be a problem. It could make my idea a little bit weaker. Whereas this one, there's been no touch on the candle yet. So I'm looking to see price get back to there. And then that might be where we can see the sell continue from. So that's going to be the Euro Pound. If I then move on to the Pound USD. Now, this week, I'm keeping an open mind on this one because we have that US dollar interest rate decision on Wednesday. So at any point this week, the US dollar could get strong, and then we're going to just see a massive move like that to the downside. So just be aware, it may not happen, it may happen, but be aware and be on the right side of it. So with this one, what I'm looking at early in the week before that interest rate decision is the US dollar starting off strong and coming towards this area. So it's going to look to happen Monday, Tuesday. Then early doors with a London session, hopefully synchronized with that. I'm looking to get a buy around the 136.200 to the 136.400. So if that's playing out how I want to see the week start, that'll be good. I'll be happy to take a position from there. However, if price then shoots up towards this level, the 138, let's say 138.200, and it's approaching Wednesday evening when the New York session's about to close, I believe the interest rate decision was 7. So around that time, if price is sitting at this level, I'm going to be expecting the US dollar to explode with strength and make that move to the downside like I just drew. So again, just keep an open mind. What day is it? Where are we? And then be aware of that US interest rate decision. I'm expecting it to have a bit of impact this week. The next one will be the Euro USD. So again, last week I had the interest rate decision for the Euro. It didn't really give me the impact that I was looking for. So I'm going to kind of write off the fact that there's any Euro strength about to be bubbling in this chart. So again, the start of the week, I'm looking to just see price pull back towards areas where I can see a relevant candle. Now, again, if I show you on the Euro USD here, you can see this level, which was at a London session, 8 o'clock in the morning. Price shot up and then shot down the other way. Now, what we've had is around the New York session. There was a 12 o'clock there. There's a London close right here. What it is price, someone is tapping back into this area. Something is hitting the level and then instantly dropping back to the downside. So what we want to do is try and catch that and synchronize it with the US dollar's interest rate decision. So just be aware for this one, I would say around the 18300, 18400. Are they going to do it again? Look to see price get up there. The minute you start to see signs of rejection, signs of weakness in the price, take your position, hold. I believe it's going to wipe out this low down here. Okay, so that's the Euro USD, the Pound USD, the Euro Pound. Keep in mind, US dollar's interest rate decision on Wednesday. Okay, next up is going to be the NZD USD and the AUD USD. Again, geared towards the US dollar's interest rate decision. Now, for those of you who follow my videos, I've been mentioning these areas for sales recently. And again, just a massive move to the downside off of that area. So again, I'm pretty sure we're in a bearish environment. If I just come down to a 4-hour, what I'm going to be looking at this week is just seeing the New Zealand dollar start strong, pull back up. The first thing I'm going to look for is this 70 level here. The key number, I want to see the fact that price has kind of struggled just underneath it. I want to see how long it's going to struggle for there. Can I get a sell entry back in the dollar? Again, if it's happening around Wednesday, that would be a plus. And then we'll be looking at that entry there. If it doesn't, and it starts the week very progressively for the New Zealand dollar, then I'll be looking at the sell around the 71, 7,800 level back in the US dollar with the interest rate decision. And it's the same thing on the AUD USD. So the first one I want to look at is there's an untouched area around this 74,600, let's say 74,800 level. Somewhere there, I'm looking to take a trade for the US dollar, again, getting strong. If it looks like it's going to beat that early in the week, then the level I'll be looking at is the 75,600. So again, try to synchronize them with the US dollar's interest rate decision. I believe we'll see some strength in that. That's the NZD USD and the AUD USD. Okay, next up is the USD Cad. Again, all geared around that interest rate decision. So recently I mentioned the buy from this level down here around that 123,500 mark. Didn't really get to it, pushed from that point there. So it tells me that something fishy is there. I need to keep an eye on this level around the 12500 mark. Already, we've had price come and hit it and struggle to go lower. So this is something that I'll be watching for. Doesn't mean it will not go lower than my red line. It can come to around, let's say, the 124,800 point and then have the push. But somewhere either here or my original area, I believe we're going to get the buy push. So again, it will be about the timing. What day is it? Where are we? How strong is it looking? Is it rejecting in the area? Am I starting to see candles wicking off of a certain point? And then I'll be looking at the buy push for the US dollar. That's the USD CAD. And now the next one I want to bring to you is the USD Jpy. Now here's a trade. Here's an area that I was looking at recently for a buy. It's lost. It went lower than the area. It was a no good trade. But what it's doing is something that is known to me as a breaker. So basically, what they have done is break through this area and now they're playing on the underside of the area. So I thought it was going to be a buy. They've done the opposite, and it's now looking like a potential sell from this point. So basically, the key level is the 110,500 mark. It's obvious to see that there's transactions being created at this point here, as that's where price is either making an up move or a down move from. So my advice for this one is the yen does act a bit differently. It is a safe haven currency. So I'm expecting, if everything else is wrong, this will be right, and the yen will move from this point here, maybe around the 110,600. So I'm just looking to see how the week starts. Is the yen going to get strong? And a target down here, let's say around the 109,400 mark. So just be aware of this one. It's slightly different. This one, I'm almost going against the US dollar strength. So if the US dollar strength doesn't come, this will be the best trade to look at. So again, just keep an eye on that one. That's the USD Jpy. Okay, next up is the Euro AUD and the Pound AUD. Now listen up, because I'm going to have kind of two different options here. It means I believe both of them won't work, so one of them should. Now, the first one I want to talk about is the Euro AUD, this level. I mentioned it last week. I think it's around the 160,500 point. Yes, it came to it perfectly. It had a drop to the downside. So it tells me again that there's a possible transaction building in this area. If I just break it down a little bit, I'm looking to see price head back towards that same level, around the 160,500. Let's say 160,700 to be precise. Somewhere around there, I'm expecting price to just pull back up. It looks like there's already been a few taps. So again, something's looking fishy in the area. And I believe we're going to get another move at some point this week. Try to synchronize it in the night for the UK, my UK people that are watching. What you want to do is try and, the Australian dollar usually gets strong through the night. So if you place a trade off to bed, you may wake up in some profits. Again, have the right risk management parameters on your trade. That's the Euro AUD. The next one is the Pound AUD. Now I'm kind of going the other way on this one. Very bullish. It's just been making moves to the upside for a little while now. And I don't think that's going to stop anytime soon when you look at this daily structure. Pretty much staying intact with everything, staying intact with where it should be, higher highs and higher lows, and continuing to the upside. So basically, with this one, all I'm looking at is around this 185,500 level. I'm looking to see price just pull back towards there, tap into this candle here, the black candle. And then again, let's see if the buy is going to continue from there. So keep an eye on that one. Be aware of the differences of what I've said. I don't believe both of them will work. Only one of them will. Okay, so that's the Pound AUD and the Euro AUD. Okay, let's get into the Swiss franc. Now, this one is really testing our patience. It's the USD Swiss franc. I've had this area marked up since the 17th of June. It's obviously over a month ago now, and it still hasn't come back to the area. So it's really testing the patience. There's definitely some good opportunities that's been in this area. Again, I can see some sell opportunities, but I'm going to hang on for that one around that 91 level. I just want to see it hit into that candle. If it doesn't do it there, then it's going to be from here. Interesting that it didn't hit into this level, but now it looks like it may do with the US dollar's interest rate decision this week. So just be aware, this is how the market acts. This is things that it does. It's been waiting for the US dollar's interest rate decision. This week, I wouldn't be surprised at all to see it just shoot to this area, let's say Tuesday night, and then Wednesday, US dollar interest rate decision, off it goes. So that's the USD Swiss franc. If I move on to another one, I started talking about this trade with one of my students late in the week. I believe it was on Thursday. I've noticed this area on the 4 hour. It's got a piece of imbalance. It's got everything that I want to see when I'm looking to take a trade. It's started to struggle here. It's been here now for about a day and a half. And I believe we're going to get a sell from this area somewhere. The number to watch out for is pretty simple. I love a key number whenever I'm looking at a trade. So 127 is going to be where I'm looking to take a sell from. And the last one will be let me talk about my main focus from last week. So obviously last week we had the euro interest rate decision. It doesn't look like there was any money pumped behind the euro. There wasn't that much strength. There was moves. There was a buy move. And in fact, there was a good trade, which I mentioned to my students around the 108, 100 level being a buy push. And it did. It had around a 30, 40 pip push from that level. Nothing to write home about. So it's still here. That's the thing. So again, I'm just going to pretty much be looking at this week, early on Monday, Tuesday. Is it going to have the move? I've got a nice target where I believe price will eventually come to. And that's something that I'm just going to be monitoring for Monday, Tuesday. If by Monday night, I'm starting to see price dip a little bit lower, take liquidity here, I will invalidate the trade and move on to the next one. So just keep an eye on them ones. That's the Swiss franc pairings. Okay. Next up is the pound NZD. Now, the first thing I want to show you is this daily picture here. I like how price dropped out of this area, came back towards it, and had another move down. So what if I then move to the 4 hour, you'll see that there's obviously the bearish environment that's being created. It's making lower lows, lower highs. It's quite clear to see where it's played from. So obviously there was something that was made here, price dropped, came back to the area, obviously dropped again. Something was made here, price came back to that and dropped again. So all I'm suggesting now is there's a bust that's moving and we're going to try and jump on at the next stop. So what I want to see is price pull back up to here around the 197,500 level. Is it going to struggle? Again, this is the New Zealand dollar that I'll be looking to back. So it would be wise for my UK followers who watch this, try and catch the trade during the night. That's when the New Zealand dollar usually gains strength for us. That's the pound NZD. And then I'll finish off on the euro NZD. Now, this is that trade that I mentioned recently, the perfect call. So we had the sell from here. I mentioned around the 170,500 level that there was going to be a sell. I mentioned the target of the 168 level where I mentioned that there could be a buy. Price came to that level, pushed up, dropped back to the same area. As you can see, you should be starting to get used to this now. And then it pushes to the upside again, and then has another drop almost from the same point as where it did before. And now here we are in the bearish environment. So if I just come down to a 2 hour now, this candle here stinks to me. It feels like there's something that's happened in that area. As you can see, there was obviously another candle around the London Open that tried to reach up to it and then come down again. So with this one, trying to catch on to this, I believe we're just going to get a little pullback up early in the week, maybe around the 169,200 to the 169,400. And then that's going to be where I believe we can get the continuation of the sell. So just keep an eye on that one. That's the euro NZD and the pound NZD.
Okay, guys, as you can see, we've got a not so action-packed week, but more of a focused one. So my advice, keep an eye on that US dollar, keep an eye on that interest rate decision on Wednesday. Be alive for it, be ready. Again, check out the trades that I've mentioned. Go back over them if you have to during the week. See what's happening, monitor it. And if you can, catch a profitable situation. With that being said, guys, hit that subscribe button in the bottom right corner. Stay up to date with the channel like I mentioned at the start. Some exciting content coming within the next month or so. A quick shout out to the Absolutely magazine. Thank you for everything. Again, available in all Waitrose and M&S stores. Go and check that out now. Have a great trading week.
Bye, have a great time.